OutFront now, Democratic Senator Cory, who sits on the Foreign Relations Committee. Senator, I appreciate your time. So you hear Kristen's new reporting that the mass firings at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence are underway. So Pulte went in and was at the White House today and now had a list, I guess, that he was going to look at before with a bunch of names on it. I don't know how he's supposedly making these decisions, but that he was going to come in and the firings are happening right now. Do you know anything about who is being fired and what reasons being given?
No, and I know what the pattern of this administration is. Remember what DOGE did. It went out and didn't use a scalpel. It just started laying off people left and right. And we're seeing the results of that right now. We've got a screwworm affecting cattle in the south of our country that could have been prevented and detected by people that they actually fired. And so here is something far greater of a threat than that. It's our very national security. It's the safety of Americans at a time from the World Cup to a war in the Middle East that we're seeing various threats coming into our country that should make us all very concerned. You don't just go in a DOGE way and start throwing people out. You do it in a substantive, methodical way by somebody who has extensive national security experience. He has absolutely none.
And I mean, I'm just, again, the reporting here that they're mass firings, could be hundreds of people, and we don't, I just think it's worth emphasizing, right, that you sit on the Foreign Relations Committee. This is D&I, you know nothing about it. I mean, this is all happening under a cloak of darkness. You mentioned the national security threat, and the context of this, of course, is what's going on many fronts, but let's just take Iran. Vice President Vance and Iran are saying two very different things about an agreement when it comes to nuclear inspections. Have you been told anything about this deal? Because, you know, the deal was signed, and then a deal was signed again, and then Vance went again to Switzerland to sign. So there's a lot of confusion out there about what exactly this all is. Have you been told anything about this in your role in the Foreign Relations Committee?
No, and that's the thing. Remember, this president doesn't respect the co-equal branch of Congress. This president goes out and does what he wants to do, even if it's unconstitutional, unjustifiable, and dangerous. That has been this whole war. And if there's anything that's been consistent, and this casts a shadow on everything he's saying right now, is every step of this, he lied. Last year, he bombed Iranian nuclear programs. So it was completely obliterated. That was a lie. He said that he was going to help. Help is on the way to the tens of thousands of Iranians who were protesting this regime that he said he was going to help. He has not. He said he was going to get regime change. He did not. This regime, the same family, more extreme. He said he was going to deal with their ballistic missiles. He has not. He, in fact, said he was going to get unconditional surrender. But if you look at that deal, the substance of it, the only person that seems to have surrendered unconditionally is Donald Trump, because even the deal that he signed gave them all of the benefits, hundreds of billions of dollars, lifting of sanctions, and we've got nothing substantive in return.
Yeah, we're understanding some of those oil sanctions, of course, lifted today as we speak. So even as all of this is, Trump's threatening to annihilate them again, and you might not even get back to your country, those sanctions were lifted.
And they're getting billions of dollars of money to repair, rebuild, restock their supplies.
So Trump was snubbed by the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. And I bring this up to you, Senator, because obviously he says she wants a picture and she says there's this sort of gossipy part underneath this, right? But then there's the serious level where she actually goes out to say, I'm going to take this on because we don't beg. And we don't make decisions about flyover rights and use of bases based on personal relationships. I do what's best for my country. And she's handling him in a way that we haven't seen much of before. But in the context of the way Iran is handling him, it's not inconsistent. In the context of the J.D. Vance stuff that we just heard about and Ben Shapiro, it's not inconsistent. When you sit on the Foreign Relations Committee, have you seen a shift in the respect in other governments for America?
Absolutely. I sit in a position where I meet with heads of state, ambassadors, members of parliament, and from North American allies to European allies, Donald Trump is a joke. No one takes him seriously. They recognize how dangerous he is, not just to European security or North American security, but really dangerous to the overall global security of this world. We are at a point in our country where we have a president who is a known liar, who no one takes seriously, acts like a buffoon overseas, but even worse than that, he puts unserious people into various serious positions, whether it's the D&I head that we just talked about that has no national security experience, Or Hegseth, who seems to be like somebody who should be out at a frat party and not leading the largest and most powerful military on the planet Earth.
One final thing. I know you spoke at the Teamsters convention recently, and I just wanted to play a couple of moments so everyone could see what your speech was like.
This nation was built by men and women in a storm who took to the hill. Teamsters, will you stand on that hill again? Teamsters, it may not be Bunker Hill, it may not be the cliffs of Normandy, but our country is in the balance. We need heroes. You are the heroes.
Senator, in 2024, that union chose not to officially endorse a presidential candidate for the first time in nearly 3 decades, and they had endorsed Democrats through those entire 3 decades. Are you hoping that will change, that they will endorse you in 2028?
I guess what I'm hoping for is that both parties recognize that we have failed to meet this moment, and that the Democratic Party start to stand for working people in every way again, to inspire their moral imagination in the way that my grandfather, who worked on assembly lines for the UAW and moved, as most blacks were Republicans back then, and then switched quickly to the Democratic Party, because that was a party of everybody from rural farmers to urban factory workers. The Democratic Party needs some serious change. We need to start standing for working people and rebuilding trust with people like the Teamsters, so we never see another day that they don't understand who's fighting for them.
Senator Booker, I appreciate your time and thank you very much on this Monday. And K-File is here. He has uncovered more examples